Africa was to visit the collection of fossils at Witwatersrand University. Now, they house a collection of about 30% of the fossils found in Africa that tell us about how we evolved from ape-like creatures into modern humans. Professor Lee Berger took us through some of the highlights of the collection, piecing together 3 million years of evolution in the process. But one of the most interesting things that the fossil record reveals was that we went through a period of extreme gigantism. And these were people routinely over 7 foot tall. These were huge. And this was before we turned into the modern humans of today.
And that's huge even by our standards, not just by Ben's.
You've probably heard the myth that ancient humans were tiny, and some of them were tiny. But as we moved during this period of about 500,000 years down to about 300,000 years ago in Africa, we move into this sort of mystery period where there's just a tiny, tiny handful of fossils. But the ones we find from that are incredibly intriguing. By this time, you're going to begin seeing the origin of Neanderthals in Europe. Inside of Africa, they go through one of the most incredible things that we've only just begun to realize. That is, they go through a period of giantism. What I'm pulling out of this bag may shock you.
Whoa. What we're looking at is the most enormous femur, so the bit that forms your hip joint. That's huge. I mean, as a doctor, I know how big they normally are. That's huge.
That is beyond huge. That's so big we can't even calculate how big this individual was. You would need sort of an NBA basketball player to get someone in the height that this probably would have been. Something like over 7 feet tall.
You don't think this person's just an abnormality?
No, because we found a lot of them. Everywhere we find them enormous. These are what we call often archaic Homo sapiens. Some people refer to them as Homo heidelbergensis, where you find them. But these individuals are extraordinary in size. They truly are giants.
Does it coincide with a time when there was enormous amounts of resources, lots of food, which meant they could afford a huge body size like that?
Actually, it might have been just the opposite. That is, it was a period where there were large amounts of grasslands evolving, and that there were lots of giants adapting to that grasslands in Africa. Giant buffalo with horns 3 meters across, if you can imagine that. And these individuals in that very rugged environment, that tough environment, seemingly were utilizing their body size to enforce themselves into what was a very, very dry and tough period.
So when would he have been around?
This particular individual existed probably about 350,000, 400,000 years ago.
And how long did people with this giant stature exist for before they started to shrink again?
We have no idea, but what we do know is the next time we start getting a good window in, that is 150 to 100,000 years ago, we are here. People of our stature, our body size. So this experiment was relatively, at least to our terms, short-lived, a couple of 100,000 years.